So let me quickly take your calls, and I'm assuming that these are not for today. They don't end at market end. Meghna, let me start with yours.
Yeah, hi. That's okay. Yes, my calls do not end by end of day. They are for the next 2 to 3 trading sessions. I would like to go for a buy call on, firstly I'd like to go for buy call on JSW Steel. Right. I believe the counter is doing really well, and the movement that is shown since the last 2 days, it's come at a good support level. So I would like to give a buy call on JSW Steel with for a target of 1940. You can have a stop loss below 1790 levels. My second buy call is again on Jain Irrigation. The stock is broken out of a big consolidation on weekly chart, so that still calls for a buy on that stock on every dip. So Jain Irrigation is a buy with a stop of for a target of 105 on the upside, and we can have a stop loss at 89 levels. And my third call is a sell call on Vedanta. If you have to see, there's decreased momentum on increased price levels, so I believe the stock is not showing strength the way it should, and that's why I would like to give a sell call on Vedanta with for a target of 158 on the downside, and you can have a stop on this call at 180 levels. Thank you.
And what is the time horizon for all of these calls?
You can say trading 3 to 4 trading sessions for each of them.
All right, just hold the thought there. I have Sarvendra with me. Sarvendra, your top picks.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Essentially three picks that I've got, and my picks are slightly of a longer duration. So around 15 days to 1 month is what I would say for my first 2 picks, which is the first one is Mahindra CI, the auto and service space. I think clearly shaping up well. Smaller players, I think. Lot of accumulation patterns in that space, and this one clearly wanting to move out over the last 2 sessions, and volumes have been pressed. Deliveries also, Mahindra CI have been slightly more than average. So my sense is that 240, 250 is what the stock should target over the next 15 days to 1 month kind of a time frame, which gives you a decent around 20 to 25% kind of a return. And I would like to keep a stop loss there at 184.40 on a closing basis. On a daily closing basis, I'll want to keep that stop loss and keep that call live for the next 15-20 working days at least. Okay. The next one is ONGC, slightly contrarian in nature. I think what we believe at 5 cents is that the WTI and the Brent prices now probably should break past that 50 barrier. We've been kind of struggling below that 50 mark over the last 1 month now. One attempt has failed. But I think within this attempt, I think 50 should be broken on the WTI and Brent both, and I think we should head towards that 56 to 58 as far as the WTI is concerned, and 60 to 62 odd dollars on the Brent. So in that sense, I think oil producers like ONGC they will definitely be benefited out of that price rise. And my pick is ONGC. I think it is gaining good traction today itself. Would want to buy on a slight correction towards 240, 245. Look for a target around 290, and keep a stop loss there at 224.40. And the last one is a more thematic trade. That's a sell on the IT space and the IT sector. Mind you, this call we are repeating again. We've already given it on air on our shows earlier as well. And that particular call is already 15% in the money. But I'm saying I'm downgrading the targets furthermore, and I'm saying that 10,000 will also break. So,
all right, just hold your thought there, because markets have just closed. They're on your screen right now, a sea of red. And the crucial thing to look at here is also that what has happened to the Nifty. It's actually closed very close to the day low, closing at 88.64, and the day low, which we hit just a short while back, was 88.58. So the adjusted close could well be actually lower than this 88.64 where the Nifty has closed right now. Hindalco is down 4%, Power Grid down 1.2%, Aurobindo Pharma 0.5%, Yes Bank is down 4%. So the market's still punishing that counter. Coal India down marginally, Ambuja Cement 1% down, there's Cipla down 2.3%, and there is you just can't see any green here. As we mentioned, Cipla down 2.3%. IT has picked up, HCL Tech 0.5% up, TCS down 1.3%, and There's HDFC Bank is flattish, but at least in the green. We mentioned TCS. The telecom stocks have done badly today, and except for Reliance Communication and Reliance, which now has to be treated as partly a telecom stock. Bharti Airtel down 1.2%. There is Idea Cellular, which ended more than 1% down, and Reliance Communications was up, and so was Reliance Industries. Maruti has taken a bit of a beating, down 1.6%. Hero MotoCorp down 2.5%. Quite a bit of profit booking that has come in today, and the stocks are on your screen. Some flat green ticks there on Dr. Reddy and some of the pharma companies that we saw. But essentially, money seems to have gone to things which didn't have much play and the defensive, the export-oriented counters. So pharma has done relatively well. There's Sarvendra's pick, ONGC, which has gone up 3.5%. We did mention that the 4.7% jump in WTI, 4.5%, 4.2% jump in Brent overnight. They have corrected a little bit because of the US inventory drawdown of the highest level weekly drop in inventories since 1999. Meghana, Nifty closing almost at the day low today, and it was we saw the exact reverse yesterday. We saw some amount of buying come in the last hour of trade. Today in the last hour of trade, the recovery that we saw, minor recovery from 12:30 onwards, that was completely sold off.
Yeah, but I believe the way we've acted today in Nifty is typical in a part of an up move. If you usually have to study technically in the past trends, how's it been? Okay. You have a breakout and then you have an up move, and it's very normal. And today being Friday, it could be the way normally you have profit booking on Fridays. So I believe it's absolutely normal. Okay. 88.50 to 88.60 could be a good level of support. I think market should bounce from there on Monday.
All right, I'm going to come back to you. Sarvendra, Nifty, is it going into a consolidation mode before hitting its all-time high? Because, whoever you spoke to before, this technical analyst felt that above 88.50, there's nothing to stop it from going to 91.20 after that. And we've seen a bit of a consolidation. Is the overall uptrend still intact, according to you?
Yes, I think the trend definitely is intact, but the very fact again here also, like other indices also, probably this surge in prices has not been backed by a fresh momentum uptick as well. So I think at various stages we are faltering as far as the momentum is concerned on various sectoral as well as the main two indices, which is Nifty and Bank Nifty. So my sense is yes, we can have incrementally 100, 200, 300 points more on the Nifty. But I think the risk rewards are getting capped now. So a fresh new sustained kind of I am not in that camp, but I am saying that yes, for a clear sell down or clearly a sell side view, probably you will want 8800 to break, and a close below 8800 on a daily closing basis will signal that probably this uptrend is over. So I am of that camp that the risk rewards are now not favorable any long for a more positional kind of stance. So on the overall markets, I think the positional stance is slightly now turning to be cautious to negative.
All right, Meghna, I just want your view on telecom stocks because they're in the news today. And, if I look at Bharti, it was making a downtrend, then has recovered a little bit in terms of the charts. And there doesn't seem to be a clear breakdown there, right? For you to actually take a sell call actively.
It does actually. If I have to analyze Bharti chart technically, higher time frame, let's begin with the higher time frame. If I see the monthly and the weekly chart, if you notice there was a low previously, we already have a bottom in place at 280 levels.
Right.
Market did give a good bounce from then on, but now we see it approaching the same level there. For it to call a breakdown, I would like to see that bottom break, because the way we are positioned right now on weekly charts, momentum is at support. So I would not really like to go short, or I would not really like to call it a breakdown at this level. I'd rather expect it to consolidate at this level.
Okay, what about Idea on the other hand? If I look at the weekly charts of Idea and I'm trying to pull out a 5-year chart, let's say, and does it look like that you would, again, there seems to be a support in that region where it's trading right now between 73 to 77 odd. Would you again say that it has to go below that 73 odd level before, or even 71, 72 level before you can actually take an active short call on it?
The idea is the trend of idea is so different than the trend of Bharti in the sense that in case of idea, the stock is much weaker. The stock is much weaker than Bharti, number one. And the momentum, if I have to compare the momentum of both the stocks, idea momentum is much weak. So I would rather not give the same thing to idea. Yes, there is support at 733 levels, but it's already in a progressive downtrend. So idea is something that I would not like to say that it may consolidate, may bottom out. There are time to go. We still need to see signs of support. We still need to see signs of consolidation here before we take any call on idea.
I'm saying that if one had to short it, perhaps the chance is gone.
Yes, absolutely. When it broke the previous bottom at 96 level, that was a very good chance to short because that was a time when we had signs on price as well as volume as well as momentum, all three at that level. Here, perhaps it's too late to short at this level.
Sarvendra, anything in the? I know you're short on IT, but do you track any of the construction companies? Because there have been some fundamental play there. There's some news which has come and kind of boosted them. Is there any reason to buy any of them, like let's say an HCC? I know they've not been in play for a long time, so probably not being tracked by technical analysts at all.
No, on the contrary, HCC has been a regular stock that we have been tracking over the last now 12 months. And as a disclaimer, we have had calls on that one from time to time. We have just now, last couple of sessions, we have booked out on the long position on HCC, but I think it's very interestingly poised now on a cusp of a larger breakout. So I would say that I will wait it out, but I can clearly see this stock hitting probably 58, 60 levels for the next 6-9 months. But as I said, since the overall view on the market is slightly cautious, you would want to have slightly lesser positions. So in that sense, I would say that we have booked out, but my sense is that 58, 60 is pending on this stock. Probably over the next 6-9 months, that's doable for HCC.
58, 60, all right. So there is a buy, but don't take too much position. That's what Sarvendra is saying. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Let me take your disclosures one by one. Sarvendra, let's take yours.
No, it will be safe to assume that whatever we have discussed, quite a few stocks we have discussed, clients can have positions in any of them. So it can be clearly seen as that we might have interest on stocks that we have discussed.
Meghana, your disclosures?
Yeah, we can assume the stocks that we've discussed, either my students or myself may have positions in either of them.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Pleasure talking to you. And I must apologize again that because of that news break, we had to delay getting you on air.